You know, we spend so much time talking about how to build wealth, but almost nobody talks about how to keep it. Because here's the secret. The traps don't just go away as you get richer. They just get way, way more expensive.
And if you don't see these traps coming, they can wipe out years of your hard work in, like, the blink of an eye. We're not talking about obvious stuff here. These are the sneaky, psychological traps that can catch even the smartest and most disciplined people completely off guard.
So, here's how we're going to break this down. First up, we'll look at the foundation, that initial climb from 0 to 100 grand. Then, it's the growth stage, pushing up toward $500,000. After that, we get into the high stakes, from 500K to $1 million and beyond. And then, we'll wrap up with the final challenge, the one trap that, well, it kind of never goes away.
Okay, let's dive right in. We're starting at ground zero. You're trying to build that first chunk of savings, that foundation. So, what's the very first hurdle you're going to face?
Well, it turns out the first trap has nothing to do with your bank account. It's the identity trap. It's that little voice in your head, maybe something you've been told your whole life, that you're just not a money person, or that investing is something for other people. It's a ceiling you put on yourself before you've even tried to build the house.
And here's something that might help you push back on that feeling. It's so easy to feel like you're impossibly far behind everyone else. But the reality is, a lot of the wealth you see isn't actually cash in the bank. So many people are asset rich, maybe they own a home, but they're still cash poor. The gap between you and them, it's probably a lot smaller than you think.
Okay, so as you start to actually save some money, maybe you're getting close to that first 10,000, a new trap pops up, the motivation trap. The progress just feels so slow. And that's when your brain starts telling you, hey, this little bit of money isn't really making a difference. You deserve a reward. So you treat yourself, and poof, right back to square one.
The real killer here is just plain old impatience. You're comparing your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 10. The truth is, the beginning of this journey is supposed to be a little boring. You're laying bricks, and every single dollar you save right now has the most time to grow and work for you down the line.
All right, so you've made it through that initial grind. Now you're in the growth stage, and you're starting to see some real progress. But just because the numbers are going up doesn't mean the traps disappear. They just get trickier.
Somewhere between $50,000 and $100,000, this really sneaky trap shows up. It's called lifestyle inflation. You get a raise, you start making more money, and without even realizing it, you start spending more. And the most dangerous part? It's not one big, obvious decision.
Nope. It's death by 1,000 cuts. A slightly better apartment, eating out a little more often, a nicer car. Each decision feels totally reasonable on its own, but when you add them all up, they quietly devour your entire raise. You're making more, but you're not getting any further ahead. Then, once you break that 100K mark, you can fall into a totally different kind of trap: over-optimization. This is where you start obsessing over tiny details, like spending hours researching which ETF has a fee that's 0.01% lower. You're majoring in the minors while completely ignoring the things that actually move the needle, like earning more and saving more.
And oh boy, this is when the comparison trap gets really loud. You start looking at your friends, your coworkers, and of course, all those people on social media. Someone your age buys a house, another person gets a new car, and all of a sudden, the amazing progress you've made starts to feel, inadequate.
And that's really the heart of the problem, isn't it? You are living your actual life, the real, slow, steady progress, but you're comparing it to someone else's perfectly curated highlight reel. The minute you start making your financial decisions based on their reel instead of your reality, you've already lost the game.
Okay, now we're pulling up a chair to the high-stakes table. The numbers are a lot bigger now, which means the potential mistakes, well, they're a whole lot more expensive.
Right around the $500,000 mark, you run into the complexity trap. Your finances just aren't simple anymore. You've got multiple accounts, different assets, maybe a property. Suddenly, taxes are a real thing. And a market dip isn't just a percentage on a screen. You feel that drop. It becomes personal, and that's when emotions can lead to really bad decisions.
Now, somewhere between $500,000 and $1 million, another big risk emerges: concentration. This happens when most of your net worth is tied up in one single thing. For a lot of people, it's their house. Look, that concentration might be what got you here, but it also means one bad turn can do a whole lot of damage.
Let's be honest, diversification is not sexy. It's kind of boring, but it's the armor. It's what protects all your hard work from one single point of failure. It's not about getting rich, it's about staying rich.
And now, after you cross that $1 million milestone,
You face what might be the single most dangerous trap of them all, the comfort trap. You feel like, I did it, I've made it. So you relax a little. You stop tracking your spending so carefully. And slowly, quietly, you lose your momentum as your lifestyle expands to fill your new, bigger container.
And you know, throughout all of these stages, from your very first dollar to over $1 million, there's one final trap that lurks in the background. And this one, it never truly goes away. It's the moving goalpost. We've all felt this. It's that belief that, oh, once I hit 100K, then I'll finally feel secure. But you get there, and suddenly the real number feels more like 500K. You hit that, and now it's $1 million. The finish line just keeps moving further away.
See, it's a hamster wheel. It creates this endless cycle of chasing the next thing. And unless you consciously decide for yourself what enough actually looks like, it will never, ever stop.
So at the end of the day, what's the real secret here? Building wealth isn't just about spreadsheets and stock tickers. It's about awareness. It's about understanding that every new level you reach just unlocks a new, more sophisticated challenge that's waiting for you.
And that's the bottom line. The people who really make it in the long run, they aren't always the ones who earn the most. They're the ones who learn to recognize these traps long before